my presentation is geared towards the parents that have kids that want to play basketball in college and get an athletic scholarship to help pay for it. Okay, and that's going to take work, not only from the player, but it's also going to take support and work and guidance from the parents as well. If I can say one word that, to kind of sum up everything, it's a process. Okay, a lot of people, sometimes reach out to me when their kids are like a senior in high school, and that's cool. I mean, I've helped kids that have reached out to me, after they've already graduated in that summer, and they ended up going to a small school. But really, all I do is video, and I'm good with technology. I'm good with social media, and the different, pages that I have: my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, my website. I got coaches that follow me, coaches that have reached out to me from Florida, Louisiana, Wisconsin, just asking about kids that they've seen I've done videos for. So I'm a strong believer in the power of video and the power of the internet. And really, college recruiting is not rocket science. If a kid can play basketball, and there's good video of them, and there's a place where someone can go to look and see how tall he is, what school he goes to, and when he graduates, if he's good enough, he'll get an offer. That's really all it takes. Now, there is some outreach that has to be done as well, because a lot of people just sit back and just wait for an offer to just show up. But you got to keep in mind, I don't know how many of you guys are watching like NCAA basketball right now, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Taco Fall. Like, unless you are a outstanding player that's like dunking on people and doing all this stuff, like coaches aren't gonna really just reach out to you. That's not saying you can't get a scholarship. There's another family that I'm working with. Now, the kid's 5'9", and he just got his first offer because his dad took him on some visits this past week, and he got his first college offer to play basketball. 5'9", and he was under the radar. But I put videos out for him, I built him a profile, they've been sending that out, and it happened. So that kid's dream is gonna come true, being able to have the opportunity to play college basketball. My biggest thing is just educating people, right? Because whether or not you wanna hire me to do video services or build a recruiting profile or do whatever, that's cool if you want me to do that for you, but you don't need me to do that. If you are educated and you know where to go and where to look for, you can do it all on your own. I'm just here to help. So one of the things that, a resource that's important is there's different divisions that people can play college basketball in. You have the NCAA, right? That's the big division. That's the one where we see on TV and everything right now. And there's different levels within NCAA, D1, D2, D3. The only difference between those is what they can pay for as far as school is concerned. D1s can pay for everything, room and board, tuition. D2s can just pay for like your tuition. They can't necessarily cover your room and board. And then there's also NAIA, which is another collegiate division. So we got NCAA, we got NAIA, and then you also have your JUCO schools. All right, a lot of people overlook the JUCOs. They usually only play there for 2 years, but they can still pay for everything. They can pay for room and board, they can pay for tuition, you can get 2 years of college paid for, and your kid can get the opportunity to play basketball in college, which a lot of players, man, I mean, you gotta have that conversation as a family as far as like what you're trying to get out of basketball. But a lot of these players just want to have the opportunity to play basketball beyond high school. And if they can do that, if they get a free education at the same time, then it's a win-win for everybody. So as far as creating your list, okay, because there's got to be some outreach. Right now, no college coaches really know anybody's name. They don't know any of the players unless you've done some outreach to them. So it's important that you create your list, and when you make that list, you have to be realistic about what level of play you're going to be in. If you're not on the same level as Zion Williamson, don't spend your time like reaching out to NCAA D1 schools if you're not at that level yet. But if you're at D2 level or D3 level or NAIA, which is like Our Lady of the Lake University right here in town, they're NAIA, which means that they can give you full ride. They can pay for your tuition, they can pay for your room and board, and the level of competition isn't as tough as it is for like NCAA. And then again, we mentioned the JUCOs. Again, you have a good chance getting in there. When you're choosing a school, you want to think about some things like the location of the school. Just because you get an offer to play somewhere like in Florida, like do you want your kid going to Florida to play, or do you want them to stay here close to you in Texas? Which is perfectly fine either way that you decide. You want to think about the team dynamic. Are they going to get playing time? Are they going to, how are they going to fit in? Those are all things that you got to think about. And like coaches mentioned before about coming up with your list of like 3 schools. I think you should come up with, you need more than that, but 3 is good to start with, because a lot of kids have 0 schools on their list. So you want to think about that. And then also the degree programs. So they're going to play basketball in college, but if they don't go pro, like what are they going to do for a regular career? So you want to think about like the degree programs, what they're going to major in, stuff like that. When you're choosing your list of schools, again, it might be good to choose different divisions. So if you're going to do 3, or 5 or whatever, do some NCAA, do some NAIA, and do some JUCO schools. As far as increasing your odds of getting that scholarship, relationships are critical. That's what it's all about, is relationships. You got to develop those relationships with those college coaches, and the best way to do that is by reaching out. And that means picking up the phone and making some calls and sending out emails. And as parents, I know everyone wants to like do everything for their kids, and that's perfectly fine, because a college coach wants to know if they have a supportive family that they're coming from. But the kid also has to grow up a little bit and be able to make those phone calls and send those emails. They don't have to be perfect. I mean, I even have templates that I've let other people use. So if you have a question about like what kind of email template to use, or what should you say in the phone call, I mean, the phone call could be as simple as, hey coach, I'm a junior right now, I'm gonna be a senior next year, I'm really interested in going to your school. What do I need to do to get in front of you? Or do you have any open spots? Like, that's all you have to do. You don't have to sound like a salesman when you're calling the school. Just be open with them and be honest, and they'll be willing to help you. The whole thing about the video is so that you can, and the emails, is that you want to drip on these coaches throughout the season. You don't want to just bombard them in 1 week, before graduation and say, hey, you have any open spots? No, you want to keep in touch with them. And when you guys go and compete in these different tournaments, it'd be good if you have video clips or whatever after the tournament. Send that out to a coach and say, hey coach, this is what I did this past weekend. I had a great game. I traveled with this team. Just wanted to let you know what I did, and then send that out. And that is going to help keep the player fresh in that coaching staff's mind. Another thing when it comes to college recruiting is you gotta get serious about it. You gotta treat it like it's a job interview or a job application. You gotta be serious about it. You gotta take ownership of it. Like I said, it's a process. You can't just send out one email and think everything's gonna happen for you. So treating it like a job, like Coach was saying earlier, players go to practices with their school, they go to practices with their travel teams. This shows their level of commitment. Some players have personal trainers. In the off season, what are you doing to stay in shape and work on your game? You also want to make sure that you protect your image and brand, which this is kind of hard for some of the high schoolers, because everybody wants to be cool right now. But in the age of social media, like, coaches will follow you on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and if they see a player, he might be good, but if he's posting stuff that's not really like you wouldn't want your grandma to see, a coach is going to see that too. So players need to decide what they want to do. Like, do they want to be cool, or do they want to go to school? And there's a I'm not saying that they have to like be perfect and live in a perfect little box, but just keep that in mind that your image and your brand, you have that. Even if you're a high schooler right now, you have an image and you have a brand that you should try to take care of. And then GPA and test scores. Like, that's so important. GPA is so important. You don't have to be a straight A student. You don't gotta be like me where I had a 4.3. You could have a 3.0 or a 2.8 or whatever, or 2.5 even, to get into school, but you gotta make sure you have that. And then also you need to have your SAT scores, because you can play basketball like Michael Jordan, but if you have a 2.0 GPA, like, you can't even get accepted out of school. So it's critical that you have both sides when it comes to applying to colleges and trying to get a scholarship. And one question that players need to ask themselves is, if you were a college coach, would you recruit yourself? Would you recruit you if you were a coach? As far as other factors to keep in mind when it comes to the college admissions process, one thing that does help out, so like with the whole athletic scholarship and getting scholarship money and all of that, that's just one component, but there's other ways to get financial aid to help players pay for school. And this is helpful because if you choose a school like an NCAA D3 school, D3s can't really give you athletic scholarships. So like they have basketball teams and they're good basketball teams, but the D3 schools don't offer athletic scholarships at the moment. But you can still get, you know, financial aid if you have good grades, if you get academic scholarships. There's other things that you can do. And then also the FAFSA, which is something that helped me and my brothers going through school, is the FAFSA is, you know, what every kid basically fills out, and based on, you know, your family's income situation, you might get assistance. So use all the resources that you have, and if you're not sure about everything that's out there, like talk to the high school counselors, because that's their job, is to help kids. And if they're just sitting back doing nothing all day, it's probably because they don't have people like asking them questions. So make them do their jobs. You know, I don't try to be the know-it-all. I mean, I do keep myself up to date on stuff, but if you got questions about admissions, talk to the high school counselors. If you got questions that actually pertain to the college, talk to the college admissions counselors. They're there for free to help you learn what it takes to get accepted at the school and the steps you got to take. There's another resource here in town, I don't know if y'all heard of it, it's called Cafe College. And really that's like an organization that the city has, full of great resources. It's called Cafe College. You can go there, they can help you do test prep for like ACT, SAT stuff. They can talk to you about GPA, free resources, so definitely check them out. And then each division, college division, like NCAA, NAIA, JUCO, they have eligibility centers, which means that before a kid can play in that division, like they have to register with the eligibility center to make sure that they have everything that they need to take that next step. But again, that's something that you can learn by talking to the potential college coach. They're gonna know more about the eligibility centers than a high school counselor. A high school counselor is not gonna know like what it takes to go to NCAA or NAIA, but if there's a prospective college coach that you're talking to, they're gonna know about the steps that you need to take to actually get the best opportunity. Next, we're gonna talk about marketing yourself. So how are you gonna let a college coach know about your player, your kid? Like, you gotta market yourself in today's day and age. There's so much noise, there's so many high school players, there's so much talent. If you don't do anything, and if you think that you can just play in a tournament somewhere and hope that there's gonna be college coaches watching and just make you an offer like that, like, it's not gonna happen unless you play at big tournaments, which I've been to big tournaments because I've filmed teams with kids that are like playing at high levels of college. You know, it might even go beyond that. I've been to those tournaments where I've seen NCAA coaches like side to side. I've shaken their hands. I've talked to them, like big coaches that we see on TV right now for Sweet 16. But they're not at your normal tournaments. They're at your big tournaments, like your big sponsor tournaments, like Nike tournaments, Adidas tournaments, Under Armour tournaments, and that's a whole nother level of travel ball, AAU basketball. But not everybody plays that, you know, so you just gotta work a little bit harder if you're not playing on those circuits, which with this circuit, no one's playing on that circuit, so you're gonna have to work a little bit harder. As far as how you're gonna market yourself, you know, one of the services that I provide is building that recruiting profile. That's like your online resume, you know, and like I mentioned before, if they have that on the website, utilize all your resources. Those links, that's gonna be like a resume, an online resume that a player can use to help market themselves. You wanna have like height, weight, what school they go to, what grade they're in, playing experience. So if they've ever been on varsity or played JV at their high school or even playing travel ball, those are all things that you can put on their resume, on their profile, to help build a picture of what kind of player they are, to let them know that they haven't just started playing basketball this year. You want to have videos, pictures, and then also their academic info to know if they're recruitable by GPA. And then marketing yourself, email and phone is the best thing. I mean, I've picked up the phone and I've called like a D1 school, so like, and NAI schools here in town, and they pick up the phone. You know, if you call them in the morning, like between 9 and 10:30, before they go to their lunch meetings and all that, when the coaches are just sitting in their office, you know, it's easy to get a hold of them. And that info is free for you to get online. So like some of the things that I've done, because, you know, I hold certain events as well to help kids get exposure. And what I always do afterwards is I always send out that video footage and the roster, I send it out to coaches. And you know, how do I get that information? I go online. You know, so like this right here, this is a list of the NAIA D1 schools here in Texas: Houston-Tillerson, Our Lady of the Lake, Queen College. I mean, these are all the colleges that I took. It took me like, you know, an hour to go through and get all this information. But if you go online to these websites, it has the coach's name, it has their phone number, it has their email. Like, this isn't secret. Like, this is no secret. You don't gotta pay nobody to get this information. You just gotta invest the time to find the school, go to their website, and then look at the roster, and it has all the coaching information. And if there's ever a school that you're looking for, all you have to do is go to Google, type in the name of the school, type in MBB for men's basketball, and then type in roster, and it'll come up. If you're interested in going to UTSA, go to Google, type in UTSA MBB roster. If you want to go to Our Lady of the Lake, Our Lady of the Lake MBB roster. You want to go to Houston-Tillerson, same thing. That's all it takes, and you can find it right there online. It just takes time to find it, but it's out there for free. You don't have to pay any recruiting service or anything like that. And then, like we talked about before with the process, right? You gotta have a game plan. College recruiting is a process. So, you know, it's good to get started when you're a freshman, because then you got 4 years to work on this. But if they're beyond a freshman, that's perfectly fine. You still got a lot of time. You just gotta have a game plan. You gotta write things down. And that's part of the reason why I wrote this book. You know, this is a book that I wrote. It's on Amazon. I carry it with me. When I talk to parents and families now about recruiting, you know, I have my packages that I offer, but one of the things that I also require them to do is they have to purchase this, because this is something that's going to help them write down. You know, I recommend they come up with a list of 10 schools, right? So if you have 10 schools, there's sections in here where you can write down the detailed information for each one of those schools. There's a contact log. This is like your roadmap. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's tangible, because like I said, I have a business that I run. People will pay me to do video, and I'll come out, I'll make a highlight video, post it on social media, and it's cool. But I'm actually trying to get, I mean, I don't mind doing that, but like I said before, I'm gonna do more purposeful work. Like, if I'm gonna make highlight videos and all that, like, let's put it on a profile, and let's use that to actually help you increase your chances of getting a scholarship and going to college. So that's what everything's all about. And just like with anything in life, it takes an investment, right? Because it takes my time to do things. It takes your guys' time. You guys invest in, like, playing for the teams, going to practices, all kinds of stuff. Everything takes an investment if you want to make it to the next level. And like we said before, it's a process. Keep working hard. And if you have questions, ask somebody. And like I said before, I'm not the know-it-all, but if you have a question, like, you should ask people that know how to point you in the right directions. So like I mentioned before, you got resources: high school counselors, college admissions counselors, coaches, you know, former players. Just use your resources for those that are serious about it. But the recruiting package that I offer to families is $250 for my recruiting package. And then it's another $20 for the book. So for $270, you get my recruiting package. And that means that I'll build a recruiting profile on my website, which is Texas Basketball Scouts. I get, you know, thousands of visitors there. I'll film 2 games and make highlight videos. So they'll have 2 highlight films. I'll take pictures, and that's what you get for that investment. So those are the packages that I offer, or that's the package that I offer. Now, once you do that, I mean, I can do like one-off stuff. So like, my package includes 2 film sessions, but if you want more film sessions, or you want interviews or whatever, we can talk about that for an additional fee. But cut and dry, like my recruiting package, all in, you're looking at $270. So, and again, that's up to your discretion whether or not you want to make that investment or not. I mean, you know, I don't force anybody to do anything, because, you know, like I said, it's just, I'm not the type of person anyway to do that. I'll help anybody that wants to help, but I'm not going to do it for free. And it helps everybody if you've got more of a game plan, instead of just, you know, kind of out of the blue want to do something. Like I said, I'm a firm believer in the power of the internet and the power of social media. Like, social media can be a great thing if you use it the right way. And just like you said, if they post a video, then the next step is you go to a camp.
Exactly.
And that camp probably like they might let him go for free, but some of these camps cost like $60. Like UTSA has some basketball camps coming up,
Right.
like within the next couple of months, and it costs $60 to go there for the 1-day elite camp for high school players. But more importantly than anything, I think those are worthwhile going to because you get a chance to shake the coach's hand and like see that they're a real person. They can see that you're a real person, and you can start building that relationship. So you got to pay to get that access. So when a college offers a camp, which a lot of colleges have camps, St. Mary's University has some camps coming up. Like, might be a good idea to go to those camps for 1 day. And if you get nothing else out of it, at least you get to meet the coach in person, shake their hand, they get to know who you are, and then you can start building those relationships. I'd rather have you guys focus your energies on areas that's gonna be more meaningful for you because you're not gonna waste anybody's time. So, everyone also wants their kid to play at a D1 school, NCAA D1. That's cool if you can make it there, but not everybody's gonna get there. But that's not saying that every kid has to play there. To me, if you can get a college degree and have no student loans or very minimal, and you get a degree, and then you can get a good job somewhere, and play basketball while you're in college, that's pretty awesome.